That is the sound of a distracted, divided, and dead American until they hear Battle for Freedom, triggering change, one heartbeat at a time. Hello, everyone. I'm your host, Watson Prunier from Battle for Freedom on Mojo5 Radio, and I'm glad that every last one of you are joining me as we get into another time of Battle for Freedom on Mojo5 Radio. I apologize. Battle4Freedom is my website, but I also want you to do me a favor. I want you to go to mojo50.com if you can. And if you want to interact with this, go to facebook.com/Mojo50 Radio, and you can leave a comment in there. And a lot of people are saying, may the 4th be with thee, or may the 4th be with you. Yes, I could geek out on that like there's no tomorrow. I see Carolyn. Good morning, Linda, Lep, Lisa, Josh, and Jill. Curtis, thank you for joining. They are at facebook.com/Mojo50 Radio. So let's do this. As we yesterday I started off, or I kind of ended off with some dialogue that I had with a police officer over the weekend about just different things that we could do, and hope that he might be able to join us. Good morning to Heidi and Amy. Thank you for joining and being part of this. As we sit here talking about this, I want you to sit back. I want you to get your American Pride Roasters coffee. I want you to, if you don't have American Pride Roasters coffee, go to AmericanPrideRoasters.com. Why? Because it's the official coffee of Mojo50 Radio. They have a lot of blends, one named after me, and many of the other different hosts on this network. I think you even have Izzo's Rage that you would love if you just need that extra energy when you're going throughout your day. Dominic Izzo comes on at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday through Friday. You can check him out. Another broadcaster and one of our hosts on this amazing network about free speech. So as we sit here, good morning, Kathy. Thank you for joining. As we sit here talking, I was finishing talking about the whole idea of our communities coming together, developing better relationships with the police, and how the smaller towns have that Mayberry feeling of the police officers know the people in the community, the people in the community know the police officer, and they have a chance to develop this relationship where they can be more honest and transparent about criminal activity, concerns that they may have, because they believe that the police officers there have a genuine concern for their well-being, as well as the people in the community have a genuine well-being and concern for the welfare of the police officers protecting them. Good morning, Carrie and Kathy. And as we sit here developing this language, not just a language, but a culture where we break down the walls of hostility that we've created because of the fact that we have this obsession with character assassination. So when I say Never Off Dead, yes, I'm doing a play off of the movie Better Off Dead with John Cusack. $2. Give me my $2. But it says America's obsession with character assassination. I think this actually should be the obsession with character assassination, because that's all we do. We tear people down. We have nothing better to do because of the fact that we are sinful individuals and we refuse to see ourselves any different than the way we are. And then we wonder why society, we wonder why our communities, we wonder why our homes are derelict or just completely dysfunctional. It's because of the fact that the dysfunction is happening in our minds and in our hearts, and we don't want to change the way we are because we're just so hell-bent on being right at all costs. We have to be the one who wins the argument. We have to be the one who wins time and again. And we have to change this. Jen Leah Butler says she lives in a Mayberry. The community knows one another. It makes all the difference. Our one cop knows everyone. And we need that level of transparency and togetherness if we're going to try and start repairing our nation. We can't get there as long as we are just bent on being combative and just constantly feeling the need to win at all costs. Let me go into another one of our sponsors for a second here, because I need to help you understand how bad this is if we don't.
Does your mind seem like it often shuts down before it even starts? Sounds like you need to detox to improve your health in body, mind, and spirit. I'd like to tell you about New Life Holistic. It is an amazing therapy process that uses neurofeedback and biofeedback for many issues that ails everyone. New Life's method and approach to health, balance, energy, and vitality is what sets it apart from anything you have experienced ever before. Call 1-833-4-BIO-LIFE and tell them Watson from Battle4Freedom has sent you. One more thing. Give them the code MOJO50 and save $50 off of your first session. The consult is free. New Life Holistic.
New Life Holistic, share it out with as many people as you possibly can, because in so doing, prayerfully, other people will get the healing that they need to recover from whatever anxieties, whatever challenges that they're dealing with. That they grow out of this, and we start building and cultivating this environment of change, of just improvement. Making America, remember that whole idea of making America great again? Well, you know what? If our goal is to be great, that means that we have to be better. And we can't be better if we're just wrapped up in character assassination. Great quote here from one of the listeners. Kathy basically says, character assassination has become the norm. It is a form of bullying. Yes. Yeah, Jen Layer Butler says, it reminds me of the scripture that tells us to look to the needs of others. If we have their best in mind, it's impossible to be hateful. Yes. Yes. Good morning, Ginger. And thank you for joining, Jen. See, this is the problem that I run into, because right now, one of the things that's happening in this country, one of the biggest articles, one of the biggest things that's going on in this country right now is the fact that Bill and Melinda Gates are getting a divorce. That after, what is this, after 35 years or 25 years together, or it might have been even 37 years together, they're going to split. And they didn't sign a prenup, and they're talking about how they fell in love and all these other different things. And what's really sad about this is there's a mentality right now that some people feel like, let's go into direct character assassination mode. See, because there are people right now who are like, better than him than nobody else. Yeah, what he's doing with the viruses and the vaccines and killing people in other nations and him putting his nose into our business about vaccines and viruses and all that stuff. And it's good for him. That's the language. That people are saying that it's good for him that Bill and Melinda Gates are divorcing. When Jeff Bezos was getting divorced a couple of years ago, people were saying, yeah, good for him. Good for him. He has all that money. Let him feel the pain. Let his life be real. Let him drink some of the stuff that he's been serving and the hate that other people have been serving. How in the world? Explain to me, how in the world does this actually start binding us together if our whole goal is to see other people in pain and we don't care? Are there wicked people in this world? Yes. Is there judgment that's supposed to come from them? Yes. But is it supposed to be from us? See, we're supposed to be the morally better. We're supposed to be the party after God. We're supposed to be the nation that we're supposed to be the party. We're supposed to be the people that are after God. We want God to bless America, but we want to sit here cursing other individuals. How does that work? How is that supposed to be the level? Good morning, Dawn. Thanks for joining. How is that supposed to be a means of us seeking God to glorify? What was it? If my people will humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from from their wicked ways. But this is the crazy part about it. It's church. It's us Christians. It's church folk. It's religious folk. It's people. It's not even just the people in churches. You're in synagogues. You're in temples. You're in mosques. All this hatred. Yeah. Plank? That's not planks in our eyes, Jennifer. It's redwood trees. We're sitting here, we're wanting God to bless us, but our language is not conducive of people who are ready for the harvest of God's blessings. Our temperament, our disposition is not about honoring and glorifying God. And we sit there and we wonder why things are so jacked up. We are sowing the seeds of discord, discontentment, and devilry from our hearts, from, what was it? What did Jesus say? It's not what goes into the man that corrupts him, but what comes out. And there's a lot of corruption going on right now with all of us because of the fact that our language is that we're sitting here taking delight in the fact when other people are suffering. I mean, the idea of whoever wins the election, the winners sit there and they glory and they gloat and they call them losers and get on with it and accept the results. It happens in every election. We sit here and we don't think that because right now God is basically saying to us, look at your behavior. I'm not saying that we can't have a standard, folks. I'm not saying we can't have a standard. But one of the things that I am saying is the standard is not us. The standard is not our party. The standard is not our focus group. The standard is not the person we see in the mirror. The standard is God, and he's not happy with the way that we're doing this. I go with the idea of never off dead is because of the fact that whether we're assassinating the character of Donald Trump or we're assassinating the character of Joe Biden, all we do is make people's lives miserable, or we hope for their lives to be miserable. Right now, we should be weeping. We should be sorrowful that the Gates marriage is coming to an end. The reason why I say this, no, don't go there. Because the moment that we invoke or desire or satisfaction in the failure of their marriage, we're now saying that we're content with the institution of marriage that God has created to be a system of failure, regardless of whoever the individual is. We're basically now attacking the institution of marriage because of the fact that we're celebrating in the failure of a marriage of someone we didn't like or we don't subscribe to. And, you know, when God says, judge not, lest ye be judged, this is exactly what he's talking about. This is exactly what he's talking about. The idea of us sitting here and we're judging people condemnation, because it's definitely condemnation, folks, when we sit here celebrating or taking a sense of pride in the fact that the marriage of Bill and Melinda Gates is coming to an end. Oh, they've got their comeuppings coming to them, but it's not it's not our duty to be the ones to administer that comeuppings on the Gates or the Bezos. The number of people who sat there were hoping that former President Barack Obama and Michelle Obama, their marriage was coming to an end, because we want to push narratives about Michelle or Barack or all these other different things. We're hopeful that there'll be divorce so we can say, yeah, see, all your evil is finally caught up to you and destroy your marriage. Well, you know what? The media, liberal media, was doing the same thing with President Donald Trump after he left the White House. The narrative that Donald and Melania are breaking up. You didn't like when that happened, but you had no problem. We had no problem doing it when it came to Barack Obama. We have no problem doing it if it's ever going to happen with Jill and Joe Biden. We have no problem doing it now with Bill and Melinda Gates. Yes, a divorce is sad for both parties, Carolyn. But my heart's sadder. It's more sad because of the fact that the language that we have, because we have to win, because we have to be right, because we have to be the winners, we have to be the ones who are going to stay on top and have the last and final say, is happy that this family is over. We've got to the point where we're excited that their relationship is coming to an end, so we take satisfaction. Our hatred, well, it's what their parents did. So much so, folks, that you can go to Twitter. Go to Twitter and you can find out and you can hear how that people with the memes and trust me, I love making my memes. But to sit there and capitalize on someone's misery, make the memes lost their power and their energy when it became personal attacks. People said your marriage ran into a problem that it couldn't handle and now it needs to shut down. Twitter is awash with memes in the wake of Bill and Melinda Gates' shock divorce announcement. This is so sad, folks, because a family is messed up. A family is in need of healing. See, in our desire to be so angry and hate-filled and filled with spite, those of us who are Christians, have we prayed? Have we prayed for the Gates family? See, because we want to win so much that we've forgotten our first task is to seek God's honor and glory in this world. How much more would we really be glorifying God if we were able to see their relationship be mended? That one, if they don't have a relationship with Jesus Christ, if they don't know that Christ died on the cross for their sins, that he was raised from the dead 3 days later, that they're not just Christers who just go to church just to say that they made the tally mark on attending church, but it's something more, it's something deeper. It's the idea of developing a relationship with the person that they know saved them and also cultivating a relationship with others around them. That's the reason why my heart can be so joyful when I see people that I fellowship with in church come in on the timeline and leave comments. And many of you who return, we've never met face to face before, but you come in and you share so much, and it really makes me appreciative of the what you share during my program, during this program, during our program of Battle for Freedom. We have lost that language to be a community, a culture that basically says that we love one another because we're so hell bent on hate. We just want to win at all costs. We want to be angry at all costs. We want to feel indignant at all costs, and not realizing that this very anger, this very energy, this very swell is what made the possible disaster that had on January 6th. Yeah. Again, I'm not putting January 6th on Trump. But there was a swell of hatred. There was a swell of indignation. There was a swell of everything, and all the enemy, all the Antifa, all those people in the background who were planning that disaster could ride the coattails of the energy of hatred, the energy of pride that we have in our hearts, and we refuse to hold back. Thank you, Robert and Renee, for joining. What are we going to do? Because it's got to get better than this. It has to get better than this. If we're going to build our communities, if we're going to build the communities based on, listen, I don't know who you are, but I'm going to have a conversation with you. It's amazing when we find out how many more similarities that we have than our differences. But here's the problem. Here's the issue where I'm not saying that we now start doing this ecumenical thing, and we start dropping the lines of our standards and we start compromising our standards. That is not what I'm saying. Okay. But remember, the standard is not us. The standard is God and his word. And where does he want us to stand? On the side of his holiness. On his side, not our side, on his side. Because if you want to talk about character assassination, the real character assassination was what happened with Christ dying on the cross. That was the worst form of not just character assassination, full on assassination. And many of us don't recognize that is not how it's not too far from where we are right now. We're ready to kill people for Donald Trump. We're ready to kill people for Joe Biden. We're ready to kill people for our message, for our focus group, for so much more. And we don't realize how close we are to being the barbarians that we denounce, that are out there in the streets, destroying our cities, destroying our communities, destroying our homes. So we've lost that ability for us to be impartial. We've lost that ability for us to be impartial and actually honest and transparent. It's so much so, check this out. Because right now, there's a case that may overturn, there's a situation that may overturn the Chauvin trial, the Chauvin verdict. Check this out. Chauvin juror defends participation in Washington protests. Will this picture get Derek Chauvin an appeal? Juror attended Black Lives Matter rally wearing "Get Your Knee Off of Our Necks" t-shirt before the trial and lied about it on the jury questionnaire. Brendan Mitchell was one of the 12 jurors who convicted Minneapolis cop Derek Chauvin of second-degree murder of George Floyd last month. Mitchell, 31, a 31-year-old black man, was photographed on social media attending an August 28th protest in Washington, D.C., at which Floyd relatives spoke. Mitchell is seen in the photograph wearing a t-shirt with a picture of Martin Luther King and the words, "Get your knee off our necks." And he is wearing a t-shirt and wearing a baseball cap embossed with "Black Lives Matter." Mitchell acknowledged being at the event and that his uncle posted the photo, but he claims he doesn't recall wearing or owning the t-shirt or cap. Doesn't recall wearing the t-shirt or the cap. Are you kidding me? You're attending an event where you're going to be a juror on a trial of the person that was the victim of the person that you're about to convict, and you didn't think that it was important to share that with the jury. You intentionally lied. See, this is the thing about it, is because everybody's like, well, everything that comes out of Donald Trump's mouth is a lie. So how do we handle this here? How do we find those of you who are, again, Chauvin was wrong in a lot of the different things that he did, and I learned even a whole lot more. That it's basically that cops are trained. Do not leave people on your stomach because of the fact that there could be an issue of breathing and complications and everything like that if they're left on their stomach. But him being on the neck, that sealed the deal that he was wrong. However, what we have here, though, is we have someone who lied, and not just because of what he did, but because of what Maxine Waters did, and basically making open threats to the jury, that literally, these are two situations here that may completely overturn the decision in the trial. When he files for an appeal, he's got the evidence. But because we decide to lie and cheat and manipulate to get our own way, And sometimes when you lie and you cheat and manipulate to get your own way, it comes back and it bites you in the end. Worse than you ever could imagine. I'm your host, Watson Prunier from Battle4Freedom Mojo Viral Radio. Let's go to a break and I'll talk to you on the flip side.
And now, Watson at Walmart.
Okay, everyone, put on your masks.
How's my mask?
It's upside down, sweetie.
I'm sorry.
No, sweetie. I'm sorry we're still being bothered by this foolishness.
My mask won't stay on.
1 second. Let me help your little sister first.
Thank you, Daddy.
You're welcome. Okay, let me get your sister. Wrap around the ears, over the nose. There. Let's go.
Sir, you can't come in here without a mask.
What?
Dad, you forgot your mask.
Let's go back to the car. Okay, putting on my useless mask.
Whoa! My mask fell off again. Triggered! Daddy, what's useless?
It's the insanity that says a mask can stop the virus smaller than a mask walking through Walmart, standing in the foyer of a restaurant, and even on a plane.
Triggered! How much American fried versus coffee did you have today?
I think he really needs New Life Holistics.
Ha ha. Mask is on. Let's go.
Can I push the cart?
Welcome to Walmart.
Is that person wearing pajamas?
Yes, dear. A lot of people feel really comfortable when they come here, so they don't get dressed.
Wow, look at that person.
Who? What? Oh, Lord. Turn the other way. It's impolite to stare.
Daddy,
Yes, Angel?
why is he showing his bum and his panties? And his butt crack. Yuck.
Whoa, too much information.
Yes, it is. I can't do this. We're out of here.
But aren't we supposed to be buying something?
We can get it from Tarjay. Welcome back, everyone. I'm your host for Battle4Freedom on Mojo Viral Radio. Listen, my website, battle4freedom.com. Yes, and go to mojo50.com because of the fact that this is how we have fun on this network. If you ever get a chance, if you're listening in your car, or if you're listening to the podcast, go to facebook.com/mojo5 radio and just catch some of the broadcast, because I've a nice little commercial, 2-minute commercial with me, my kids, my family, and I've been having it so fun with this ever since the fact checkers have been, copywriting all the fact check shaming my stuff. So having fun here, and we're going from there. But today I've been just talking about this whole idea of character assassination, never off dead, the obsession with character assassination. And the reason why I say this is because, before going to the break, we're talking about this one juror who was on the Derek Chauvin trial, and, this person lied. He lied about, how partial and biased he is to this. See, and this is where we get to the point where our society, no one is innocent of the degradation of our society. That all of us have played some part in this. The level of hatred, the hatred of malevolence that we have in our hearts, and we sit here where, yes, one of my buddies, I hadn't talked to him in a while, but he commented on one of my posts on Facebook the other day, and it was very interesting because the way he had mentioned this was really key of the way he talked about this, because he reminded me when I was talking about the idea. I had a meme that talked about how we can always find something wrong with someone else. We can always find something wrong with people to tear apart their character. We could shut them down. We can do all this because we're filled with so much hatred. We're filled with so much rage. And here, this is the one here. I put this one up here where it says, Cain killed Abel because he wanted to one-up him at everything. Sounds a lot like what we're doing today. I'm certain that we can always find something we may do better than others, but there will always be someone who is better, whom we should, and again, that someone was capitalized, who should be getting more attention than our perceived competition. And I like what he says is he's like, part of me wants to point the finger at the people I interact with that blatantly attack people and then tried to one up them in the Cain way. But honestly, I think it's those, even me, that do the quiet character assassination of those who do the obvious attacks that are the most dangerous. Yeah, that moment someone does you wrong and everyone knows it, but you let those daggers start flying, well, you know they are a self-centered person you can't trust, right? Did you hear how they also fill in the blank? They deserve what they get, and obviously they need Jesus. We should pray for them. That was his thought for Monday. That was his thought for yesterday. And I believe that that's the language that we have when we start shooting daggers at people. And we're sitting here wondering why in the world that this place is a mess. Yes, Carolyn. And my wife even told me that you said you don't like hearing me sing. Sorry, I'm commenting on someone who left a comment in the on Facebook. If you want to interact, facebook.com/Mojo5 Radio. So I'll get her on that. So now I'm going to make a ballad for her. But this idea of where we are, where we want to see our societies better, but we don't want to be better. That's the thing about it, is that we don't want to start loving our neighbor. And yes, even though you don't like my singing, I love you too, sister, and I know you love me anyway, in spite of my singing. We have to break down these walls, but there's so much hostility. Here's another one that's out there right now, because there's a bigger one I'm going to get to here shortly. This woman says, You'll never be white. Black driver launches into racist tirade against Latino cop and calls him a murderer after he pulled her over for using her cell phone. April 23rd incident took place in San Dimas, California, near Los Angeles. Los Angeles County Sheriff deputy pulled over a black woman in a Mercedes, told motorists she was being cited for using her cell phone while driving. "Why are you harassing me? You're a murderer." She then accused the deputy of threatening to kill me and my son. "You're always going to be a Mexican," she says. "You're never going to be white." Welcome to my world. As like me and people like Senator Tim Scott, you know how they called him Uncle Tim, or they call him Oreo. They call him sellout. They call him traitor to his race. But see, that kind of language of racism and hatred. Oh, no. Black people can't be racist. Oh, God's like, how much more evidence do you want to see, and how much more time do you have, and would you like that popcorn buttered or just plain? Because he will roll the tapes, he will roll the memes, he will roll the video recordings, he will roll everything so you can see how much of the hatred that's actually, be safe, Linda, be just seen in the hearts of all of us. As we sit here claiming that we're now a better country because we've removed hatred from our White House. We're a better country. Oh, let's go to this old one. Hold on a second here.
And we have to restore the soul of this country, and I'm counting on all of you to be part of that. But I'm not joking when I say this. If you're ever working with me and I hear you treat another colleague with disrespect, talk down to someone, I promise you I will fire you on the spot. On the spot. No ifs, ands, or buts. Everybody is entitled to be treated with decency and dignity. That's been missing in a big way the last 4 years. The last thing we need is the Neanderthal thinking that in the meantime everything's fine, take off your mask. You're a lying dog-faced pony soldier. You said you were, but now you got to be honest. I'm going to be honest with you. Everybody is entitled to be treated with decency and dignity.
Yes, you remember that? Because of the fact of our current president, who says that everybody needs to be treated with decency. I'll fire you if you have this language where you're doing character assassination. All they do is character assassination. Hypocrisy abounds, and 81 million people voted. Sorry. So 81 million people voted for the hypocrisy standing in the White House. We are hypocrites. Bump, bum, 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 bum. See, we're going to continue to get busted for our hypocrisy. God is going to continue to show how much we are hypocrites. See, we white racism, white supremacy. The FBI saying that this is the FBI data, the same FBI that basically didn't find anything incriminating about Hillary Clinton having email servers or destroying crackberries or a bunch of blackberries, about all this information. About Barack Obama authorizing the FBI to do an investigation into Donald Trump, presidential candidate Donald Trump. And the FBI didn't find anything about their corruption and what they did against General Mike Flynn, about what they did with Roger Stone, and what they're doing with countless other individuals, about raiding Rudy Giuliani's house. But they're not raiding the house of a Clinton, and not raiding the house of a Biden, they're not raiding the houses of an Obama, but they're raiding the houses of anyone who is not part of the swamp, the cabal, and the elite society, believing that the world only belongs to them. And God is showing us our hatred and our wickedness. See, folks, are there racist white people in this country? Yeah. Are there racist cops or out of control cops in this country? Yeah. There's a video I would love to play, but he just says GD too much for me to play this for you. But there's a video that came out over this weekend of a black police officer driving. I can't remember his name. And it's a powerful video. It's a powerful video of this black police officer who is driving. He's saying he's tired. He's saying he's really, really tired of the narratives that's going on out there. Every morning he wakes up and he kisses his wife and kids because he knows there's a possibility he won't come home. This is the powerful video. If you watch this, he's like, I'm not like the bad ones. The majority of us are not the bad ones. So why do you keep broad brushing us, broad strokes that all cops are bad? And he's like, I'm getting tired. He's like, I'm giving my all. Law enforcement, first responders, they're giving their all. They're sacrificing more time away from their family than we are in our jobs and our cush jobs. But we're going out of our way to do character assassination on the very people who we don't have the gonads to do 1/10 of what they do selflessly. We tear apart our military. Scott Husing, who wrote Echo and Ramadi, when I was speaking to him at CPAC back in 2018, and he just talked about the whole idea that when I was interviewing him, and he mentioned the idea that less than 0.5% of Americans sign up and serve in the military. But the 99.5% of us have the mitigated goal to insult the people who throw on this uniform and do things that we would never do. Because we're so weak in character, it's so easy to insult the people who have the bravery and the heroic spirit to do what many of us won't do. So it's easy to assassinate their characters, right? This cop, he says he's tired. He's giving his all. And see, there are going to be people in America who are tired of giving their all because they're being constantly disrespected, constantly being torn apart. Their characters being assassinated, because that is our spirit. That is our nature. I want to go to see. Let's not celebrate that we busted black people being racist. Let's not celebrate when we bust white people for being racist. Let's celebrate when we bust everybody for their racism, their hatred, their lust, their hypocrisy, their pride, everything. And I would dare say even go back to our previous president. Yep. I gotta go into him. I have to go into this because this is really sad. And this is the tip of our hypocrisy. This is the tip of our hypocrisy. Trump slams Catholic Biden for supporting abortion, wearing a mask on Zoom, falling down on the stairs on the Air Force One, and being the most radical president in history at a pro-life summit. Trump's headline, the Susan B. Anthony lists pro-life leaders summit in Palm Beach, Florida on Monday night. The event was closed to the press, but Trump's remarks were summarized in Twitter thread by journalist Molly Hemingway. Trump spent much of his time on stage reprising his favorite insults for Biden. He called Biden one of the most extreme and radical presidents we've had and mocked him for wearing a mask on a Zoom call with world leaders. He also slammed the egregious media for treating Biden with a light touch. I dare say, folks, he's back to his rhetoric. This is, well, there's election fraud. No. Understand this. The reason why Trump lost the election, because he couldn't stop insulting. Character assassination. And God is saying, see, because this is what we don't seem to understand. Well, the Democrats they support abortion, and the Republicans are the party of God. The Republicans, the Democrats booed God. Okay. You want to be so fixated on abortion? Matthew 5:21. You have heard it was said to those of old, you shall not murder, and whoever murders will be liable to the judgment. So we'll just throw in abortion, okay? You have heard it said of old that you shall not perform abortions, and whoever performs abortions will be liable to the judgment. But this is red letter. For those of you who have a red letter Bible, Jesus says, but I say to you that everyone who is angry with his brother will be liable to judgment. Whoever insults his brother will be liable to the council, and whoever says you fool will be liable to the hell of fire. Jesus is saying this. There is no other way to interpret this. See, when we want to be fixated on saying, well, abortion is a thing that we must not give up on. We must stand strong to the tyranny against abortion. And God, Jesus with a CH for those who need that extra emphasis on his name. Jesus is saying, spirit of anger against your brother or sister in creation. Because we were all, Genesis 1:26, we were all made in the image of God. We're all image bearers of God. And so if you are attacking and insulting another individual, we are now insulting the very image of God. See, y'all wanted to believe Lynn Wood against former Vice President Mike Pence, because Mike Pence didn't do what you wanted to keep Trump in office, because Trump, instead of running a better campaign, he sat there on his campaign of insults, and instead of bringing people together, showing some humility, and look, and he's going to be running in 23, 2024? And you want this back in the office? You think this is a better America? Just because your wallets and your bank accounts were bigger, because your retirement funds were better, you think this is a better America? Are you kidding me? This is the reason why I say battle for freedom. That we fight against our presuppositions, our predispositions to hellish behavior while condemning other people. And if you sit here on your high horse believing that you're still morally superior to Joe Biden, to Donald Trump, to Democrats, to Republicans, to gay people, to straight people, to black, to white, if you still stay on your high horse, ready to hurl the accusations against, you will reap what you sow. We are watching this. A better campaign would have won him the seat, regardless of the election fraud that took place. Regardless. But this is what we want. We're about to split the party because we want to put this buffoonery back in the White House. And God's saying, how dare you stand on the platform of my holiness while you support such irreverent behavior? Come on. This right here is the end of his campaign if this is how he's starting off. But we're better. Anything is better than Biden. No. This is not better than Biden. Because this is what cost Trump the election. His refusal to humble himself. This is what's cost us Senate seats and Republican seats and whatever in our government right now because of the fact that we as American citizens refuse to humble ourselves, seek his face, and turn from our wicked ways. Because if we're going to sit here and continue to endorse this prideful, arrogant, hubris disposition that's nothing but from the pit of hell. Because remember, Satan, there was no abortion in heaven. Satan didn't abort a baby when he got kicked out of heaven. Satan wasn't engaging in homosexuality when he got kicked out of heaven. Satan wasn't sitting there sponsoring human trafficking when he got kicked out of heaven. Satan got kicked out of heaven because of his pride. Pride comes before the fall and a haughty spirit before destruction. Here we have the truth, and the question is whether or not you want to hear it. This is the bitter drink that we must drink right now. Start to think, start to think, start to think. He is back to his old ways. And the worst part about it is he's at a stinking pro-life summit. We're Christians. Who of them said, please, Mr. President, stop the rhetoric? Stop. Which Christians in his organization, for all those of you who said, yeah, he's turning into a Christian. He's going to be a whole lot better. Oh, but we're not going to hold him to a standard of better Christian living because we don't want Trump to be a better Christian right now. But Joe Biden, he's the worst Christian out there. He's a horrible Christian. He's for abortion. God's saying, Trump is for pride. And I kick some mud out of my kingdom because of pride. In Matthew 25, verse 41, I prepare hell for the prideful one and all the people who follow him. Get off the train. Get off the pride train. Get off the pride train while you got a chance. Humble yourself. Humble ourselves. Seek his face. Pray. Seek his face. Turn from our wicked ways. That's exactly right. Trump is for Trump. Trump is for Trump. We can milk it all we want to make it believe that he is for everybody else. But I'm telling you, God's about to expose us, folks. If we are hell-bent on character assassination, God's like, okay, I got you. I got you. See, we're going to sit here and mock whether it's the Gates and their failing I like that. Renee, get off the pride train and get on the soul train. Yes. Get on the one who saved your soul train and get off the pride train. I tried to soul train. I can't. That's not as good. I mean, oh my God, I wish I could do that a whole lot better. Folks, this is where we are right now. There's so much hatred. There's so much bitterness. There's so much anger. And I'm telling you, the only good anger is righteous indignation against all sin. Not just the sins that we pick up and say, hey, that's just not right. We should be looking and saying, it's all not right. Psalm 5:5 says God does not like sin. So, Habakkuk 1:13 says God cannot look at evil and wickedness. To sit there and only prescribe certain sins as evil and wicked. Well, the word says it's an abomination. Again, show me in the Bible where it says Jesus died harder, or he felt more pain dying on the cross for abortion, for homosexuality, for child sex trafficking, for racism, for sexism. Show me where it says in the Bible that he died at the 9th hour, so maybe somewhere between the 6th and the 9th hour, Jesus says, Father, abortion is hurting me. Father, homosexuality is hurting me. Father, child sex trafficking is hurting me. Father, racism is killing me. You won't find it. You won't find it at all. Praying for you, Renee. I started this off with reminding you of the conversation I had with the police officer this past weekend about us building a community, building a culture where we start showing love and care, respect, and sacrifice for one another. I saw this story, and this is really powerful. You may not get the audio on this for those of you who on I'm not even going to do the audio. I'm just going to show you the video on this. But there was this amazing story about a good Samaritan who leaps off of a bridge and into the bay to save an unconscious baby girl who was thrown from the car during a head-on pileup. The multi-vehicle crash took place on Route 90 Bridge in Ocean City, Maryland on Sunday afternoon. The baby girl was ejected into the Assawoman Bay when the pickup truck she was in front of struck another vehicle head on and was left hanging over the guardrail. The Good Samaritan had on the scene, jumped into the water and rescued the baby, who was said to be unconscious. And videos from the eyewitness shows a Good Samaritan cradling the baby before handing her over to a boater. Well, we don't need to catch for videos, but the idea that, thank you, I got that from Daily Mail. So that's why you see we pay cash for videos. This whole idea that we have to get to the point where we're ready to dive into a bay to save someone who is really hurt. There need to be many of us Christians. Are we diving into prayer for the Gates? Are we diving into prayer for President Biden? Are we diving into prayer for former President Donald Trump? Are we diving into prayer for the people who get under our skin? Because if we're not doing this, the reason why I shared that video is because I normally do try to end the program off with an attitude of gratitude. You can send, whether you have a video or a story, send that to me at B4FAOG because of the fact that if we want our society to look better, then we need to show society what better is. See, we're sitting here wanting to change who is in the White House, but we're not changing who is in our own house. We have to be ready to dive into the water. We need to be diving into prayer. We need to be diving into love and charity to help those who can't help themselves. Thank Thank you, Carolyn. I was just having fun there. I was just having fun. It's just the idea that we want a better America, or we want America to be better or great. It starts with us being great, but we can't be great until we humble ourselves and live according to the great grace of God. Following the model of Christ, we set ourselves up to be ambassadors of love, peace, mercy, justice, and goodness in this world. Please let us do better, because if we don't, America will be worse than a third world country. It will be hell on earth until we come to our senses and repent and turn from our wicked ways. Brad Staggs and the Daily Mojo is going to come up next. It's one of the many shows that you can find out. Rocky Stucci's at 10 a.m. After that, you have the Situation Room at 10 a.m. You have Gwen Rich at 11 a.m. You have the American Rock Radio at 2, and so many more. I can't memorize them all for you. So you're going to have to go to mojo50.com/schedule and see who it is that you can listen to on Mojo 50 Radio. I'm your host, Watson Premier, and I'm out.